To what extent has online learning in the past 5 years affected high school and college students in the United States? Over the past 5 years, and due to the recent pandemic, online learning has been used much more than ever before in the United States. This presentation was made by Angel Guzman.
Nina Nanduri.
Sophia Shaw.
Sebastian Urbino.
And Brendan Carollo. High school and college students' mental health has been negatively affected by online school in the past 5 years in the United States by how school functions, increased psychiatric disorders, technology used by students and teachers, and performance pressure. How high school has helped teens. One of the biggest ways was motivation, by proving and showing that teens can do anything with teachers and students supporting them, as well as the fact that they can talk to them and treat them and improve their skills. One of the things is talking, reading, and writing, and more. Also, there is more interactions when at school, giving some teenagers the normal to be able to speak their mind and to make friends. The picture to the right shows how students can benefit academically from social interactions with their peers. Homeschooling during a pandemic. Since the teens are at home by themselves because of COVID-19, they would most likely be isolated in their rooms. This can cause teens to have depressive and antisocial tendencies, which can cause the students' health to deteriorate. Also, the graph to the right shows that high school students are most likely to be able to be at home due to COVID and because of their age group.
Adolescence is the peak age of onset for the most common psychiatric disorders. Scientists have found that during the first few years of age, the brain undergoes rapid development. It is during this time that adolescents are particularly vulnerable to psychiatric disorders and possible chances of suicide. As seen on the graphs on the right, depression and suicidal thoughts are seen in around 20% of teens. COVID-19 has taken a massive toll on families and communities in the United States, making these mental health problems worse. Dealing with lost family members, increased online schoolwork, and the expectation of socialize virtually are hard on the developing brain, leading to numerous forms of psychological stress, mental health disorders, bipolar disorders, depressive tendencies, and more. What is the difference between online learning and face-to-face? Online courses offer more flexibility. It can also be beneficial for shy students who don't want to stand out as much and want to work at their own pace. However, being in a classroom allows students to collaborate and socialize and express their ideas vocally through in-person interactions more effectively. There are numerous studies suggesting that people are able to more easily retain information from paper books in comparison to e-readers or computer screens. Due to the recent pandemic, majority of courses are partially online for the fall 2020 semester. Forced enrollment in online learning can cause students to feel alone from the lack of in-classroom relationships and are experiencing challenges related to increased screen time. Students may experience increased fatigue, lack of motivation, procrastination, ineffective time management, and feelings of isolation due to the limited socialization in person. The transition from the classroom to online is all just so new to kids going to school all their lives.
Online school is very successful when it comes to complicating an already complex situation. With the new academic school year beginning in the midst of a pandemic, school districts faced real pressure from state legislation to reopen schools despite major pleas from the medical community who advised heavily against it. For the sake of public health, with this pressure from state and local government on achieving academic standards in the student body, despite the obvious complications, this has had a very negative impact on students' mental health, with the data in the image reflecting that with 80% of the student body in today's day and age feeling stressed on a daily basis. From a financial standpoint, online school education is a two-headed snake. With the benefits of not needing to spend funds on school uniforms and transportation, online school can appear to be a serious winner for families and their economic standpoints. However, additional utilities fees of home and costs for more food and possibly care for children that could be very expensive and could prove to be costly to families on a budget. With a vast majority of funding for education coming from local government and citizens, removing these funds could effectively bankrupt the school systems as seen in the graph to the right.
Students feel more stress during online learning, which can lead them to rapidly develop bad habits such as lack of sleep, dietary issues, and reduced physical activity. More students are finding that online school is much more stressful than traditional learning, and they are feeling more pressure because of the sudden change of environments they have experienced. As seen to the graph on the right, 87% of students say their education is a significant source of their stress. 82% say the uncertainty of the 2020-2021 school year is what causes their stress, and 67% say that planning their future seems almost impossible. Students that are still developing are starting to suddenly experience less social interaction, which later in their life causes struggles with their mental health. Online school is increasing the gap between economic groups because, as seen to the graph on the right, lower and middle class students make up majority of the population, and most of them don't have access to online school, meaning that majority of the student population isn't getting the education that they need.
The use of technology from home during online learning plays a significant role in the mental health of students. Due to their shorter exposure to technology, some teachers do not have the same level of fluency as their younger students, making them less effective at teaching and communicating. In addition, students at home may experience frequent technology issues, from not being able to join their live classrooms to their homework not submitting on time. These tech issues, paired with the lack of effective communication from teachers, leads to increased stress on students. As seen on the graph, the top two bars of the graph, 44% of students feel their biggest challenge is stress or anxiety. 21% have a hard time keeping up academically. These challenges can be traced back to the technology issues that both students and teachers face, leading to serious mental illnesses such as anxiety and depression. Furthermore, a lack of engagement with technology can lead to social isolation for students. Typically, teenagers use social media as a way to connect with their peers from home. However, classrooms, even online, ban the use of social media or smartphones, preventing much social interaction during school hours. Teachers have seen less participation in online lessons as well. One teacher interviewed by the New York Times reported that only 3 of her students have been consistently engaged with online lessons, meaning only 3 students are having any type of social interactions during school. As shown on the last 3 bars of the graph, social experience and communication with professors and peers are the lowest priorities for students online, indicating many are feeling the effects of social isolation. The Kaiser Family Foundation found that social isolation is a risk factor for suicide. Considering the amount of students that are online currently, social isolation from online learning can be seen as a national mental health crisis. Although there are some benefits of learning online, such as schedule flexibility and decreased social anxiety, there are a greater number of negative effects seen, such as social isolation and increased stress. A possible solution to reduce these negative effects is to promote a blended learning environment. Blended learning calls for a combination of online and in-person techniques to teach. For example, students can work independently on online assignments and occasionally meet in person with their teachers to review concepts. Although this blended learning may be complicated to implement, it can be customized to fit each school's situation and lessen any negative effects seen by purely online learning. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
I do have a question for each of you. Let me just get the computer back to where it needs to be. Okay, we're just going to go in order. Sebastian, you're up first. Your question is, describe how the content of the presentation changed as a result of you guys talking about it.
Well, originally we thought there would be more positives to online school and how online school has affected students and families and teachers even. But as we worked together, we discovered that the direction that we were going in data, all of our sources, our information showed that there were a lot more negatives than positives to online education.
All right, thank you. Angel, you're up next. In the future, what change would you make to your group norms, and how would you expect that to improve your presentation?
Well, I think that in the future we would have more stricter due dates, meaning that we would have more time to work on our presentation so that our presentation would flow more smoothly, so that everything flows together better and fits each other's perspective.
All right, thank you. Clarissa, you're up next. Brandon, reflecting on all the work that everyone else in the group did, who's had the greatest impact on you to understand this situation of online learning?
So I think Sophie had the greatest impact on me because she, like, the impact of the mental health of everything. It showed that what schooling and everything could do to your mental health in a way that, like, is very stressful on a person, and it takes so much to adapt. And so yeah, like you need to have strength to be able to do that.
All right, Nina, you're up next. In what way did your ability to work with a group change as this project has gone along?
We had better communication with each other, and we got to collaborate with new people, and we worked on better time management.
Okay, and then Soph, last one. What was the strongest counter argument to your solution for your project?
Our counter argument was that it would be complicated, expensive, and possibly take a long time to implement blended learning into school systems. And it showed how much effort is required to improve the negative effects that are seen by online learning. And it contradicts our solution about how blended learning can be used to improve online schooling.
The best